We're going to be starting the next couple of weeks, the Shavavim weeks. We're going to talk about bettering our house, that our house should be warm houses. Because Shavavim is a time that Hashem tells us, Shivi bunim Shavavim, come back. And the only possible way, the only realistic way of a Jewish young man, no difference, if he's not married, then it's very hard really to come back in this kind of a aspect that we're talking about. But we're talking about married people, and it's almost impossible. The tool to come back to Hashem is that you should have a good relation with your wife. And that's why Shavavim is made a couple of weeks in the middle of the winter. And actually it's before Udar. It's always before the month of Udar, that Udar is a very happy month. And then we have the holiday of Purim. That's a very happy time. Then comes Pesach, and Pesach is made to believe in Hashem. So this actually works like one after the other. Meaning to say, if you don't have a good relation at home, and you don't have a home, it's impossible to be happy. You could talk and talk and talk about being happy, but it's impossible. You don't have the tools to be happy. After you're happy at home, it's possible to have the month of Udar, and that has the big holiday of Purim. That's the happiest day in the Jewish calendar. And that only happens because we have a really solid, beautiful relation at home. Then we could start believing in Hashem, working. Then we understand that in order to believe in Hashem, it needs effort and it needs to be worked on. Now, this week's parsha starts that these are the names from the Jewish people that came to Mitzrayim. They came to exile, and they came together with Yaakov Avinu, and the Pusik says something, and it's not the way the Torah usually talks. The Torah says, a person and his house came. Now, the Torah is trying to tell you something over here. Going in exile, going out of Israel, if you really want to survive, you have to come with your house. If you don't have a house, then don't even expect that you should have warm children and children that won't be affected from the exile, that won't be affected from all the goyim around you. You want to have Yiddish Kinder, you want to have children that go in the Jewish way, that are connected to Hashem. The Torah is telling you, you have to have a house. Now let's see a couple of paragraphs later. Paroi told the midwives that when they see that it's a boy, they should kill it. And the Pusik tells us, and the midwives were aware of Hashem, and the midwives did not do what Paro told them, and the Torah says, and because of that, Hashem rewarded them. Vayasluhem butim, Hashem is burach, Hashem made them. Butim is again houses. What are we talking about? Which kind of houses are we talking about? So we have to understand, and I'm sorry to say, it's something that I see it in my job. I learn with boys before they get married. And we are trying to develop a kind of houses that children should love their parents, and there should be a good relation, a really tight, solid, cemented relation between a husband and a spouse, in between children and parents. That's the only way you could expect to see the next generation and the next generation booming and blooming for Hashem. It's impossible if a person doesn't have a relation with his mother, doesn't have a relation with his father, and the parents alone also don't have a good relation. It's impossible in today's day, that a child should come out healthy, and a child should come out in a kind of a way that they should also be able to build up a beautiful house. So the Torah tells us, when you are going out between all the 70 nations, you're not going to be in Israel, you're not going to be under the influence where only Hashem is the one that does everything, that's in Israel. What the Torah is telling you is, if you're going out, you better take your house with. Because if you don't have a house, don't expect any rewards, because it's impossible. Now what we are talking about, houses. How nice would it be when a boy comes and says, wow, I would love to live just like my parents. And I hear it from time to time. I do hear it from boys. We're talking about 19-year-olds say, I would love to live like my parents. The love that I saw at home, the respect that I saw at home was unbelievable. I just heard, like a couple of weeks ago, a woman in her 40s told me, my parents have 19 children. I never, ever saw only love in our house. My parents love each other. The siblings love each other. That's all we saw. How beautiful is such a house? And how much does such a child have the tools in order to create the same kind of a house? In a house that you don't hear criticism, you only hear good, positive words. Basically, I would say like this: if a mother has to say criticism, she has to give 100 compliments before she gives one criticism, one negative word. How much would such a child grow, and how beautiful should be such a house? Now, being I live with this, and being I do this for years, and I'm watching this, I could actually say for 40 years, I watch it with a fine comb, and I learned everything that I learned is this is my subject about the relation. So I went ahead and tried to help all the Jewish people and made a website. For the people that have internet, I made a website in order they should be able to see it live, they could see a video. For the people that don't have the internet, I made a phone system, and the number of the phone system is 212-666-LIFE 5433. You could call it, you could sign up, you could hear over there for a whole year. There is to hear only lessons and only about relations, but really, really how you build a house. Everybody understands that anything in this world, let's take music, is a big difference if somebody was taught and went to school how to play music, or if somebody just did it by themselves. You could see somebody that's sensitive to music could hear a big difference. But this is not such a big deal. Let's say about building a skyscraper, building a building with 25, 35, 45 floors. How much is the difference if somebody is experienced and somebody went to school and somebody learned how to do it? Or if somebody just did it by himself? What is the difference of these two houses? So the same thing applies. Marriage is a very, very, very complicated thing. And there's a lot of people that learn about marriage and they invest hours and hours to find out how to build their marriage, how to build their Jewish house. Or there's a lot of people, they just try, they do the best they can. So I went, made a website and tried to, whatever I teach, how to build a house, I would love that all Klal Yisrael should have this warm, loving house, feeling the love at home. And the children should also feel the love in order they should get love, in order they should be able to be healthy people, physically, mentally, emotionally. So I made a website that's called Reb Yakov Moshe Ganz. If you want the complete spelling, when you call the phone system, you press number 2, you'll hear the exact how to access the website. But I really feel it costs $350. Imagine learning, going to school to build a building, and it costs $350. Many bought it already, many listened to it, many improved their relation at home 100%. This is not made for somebody that his relation is real poor and they're fighting at home. This is made for everybody. This is made for somebody that has a good relation. He just wants to go a little bit better. This is made for somebody that, God forbid, doesn't have a relation at home. How to start a relation. No difference how many years you're married. You could really change your relation completely a year after you're married, in 30 years after you're married, and even 50 years after you're married. It's made for every boy that's ready to get married, and it's made for every person, God forbid, that's alone before second marriage. But this is not made when you get engaged the second time. It's made much before then. Before you even start dating, or before you start talking about a new spouse. No difference. We're talking about the men's side or the women's side. They both need to hear it. Before the second time, you need to hear it a couple of times before you even talk anything seriously. So let's hope, with Hashem's help, that everybody should listen to it in the dream that all of the Jewish nation should have this good shulam bias. Shula means peace in the home. They should have peace in that home. They should have happy homes, warm homes, loving homes. Hashem should help. All of Klal Yisrael should have it. And we should have good children. And our children should build good and warm and loving houses. Have a beautiful day.